Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel and welcome to yet another episode of this Drawing Session podcast. This podcast takes a turn and I need to tell you guys that I am kind of lying to you in this particular podcast because most of what I drew in this podcast I didn't draw on the weekend, and the reason to this is actually very depressing and we're gonna talk about it. But basically, just a summary of what we're gonna be drawing today. In this episode, we're gonna be drawing a lot of faces of the same character. We're gonna be drawing Kuroi quite a lot. Basically, most of what we're gonna be drawing is him, his face in different angles, him looking a little grumpy, a little serious, and we're gonna be also drawing his pigeon. And I'm gonna be completing 2 pages, I think, or at least one they're gonna finish on camera, and then we're gonna jump on setting up new pages and we're gonna go through how I'm just setting up pages, putting all the fill color, all of this fun stuff. But the first thing that we need to address is the traumatic event that happened is that on Sunday, basically, I'm gonna start from the very beginning and I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about my feelings about the situation, and we maybe gonna be talking a little bit about potentially burnout, potentially being stressed, overworked, putting too much pressure on yourself, and then computer malfunction. This is what we're gonna talk about. And I was thinking to record this episode earlier, but if I did that, I'm gonna be super sad and it's gonna be the saddest episode of all time. So today some time passed, so I'm just gonna talk to you what happened. So basically, I just noticed overall that, I draw on the evenings and I draw on the weekends, and I do a lot of stuff down on the weekends. And lately, like the later weekends, what happened is that a lot of people demanded my attention, and I know I don't want to sound like negative because it's very good when people care about you and you have people around you, but when you try to work, you know, on the weekend, you know, one friend wants to call you, another friend wants to call you, one friend wants to see you, another one wants to go for a walk with you, and then you have your relatives calling you from, you know, Russia, and then your grandma is upset that you didn't talk to her for a while. So, and you have to connect to all the people and respond to all the people, and that's, to me, when I say burnout thing, I usually never mean that I work too much. Usually burnout to me means mental burnout of the fact that I need to keep up with all the people that want to talk to me while I'll just want to work. And when people talk to me and when they like want to see me, want to, you know, just have my attention, it's it just sometimes what happens, people don't understand that when you say, usually, you know, like when you tell the people around you, hey, sorry, I cannot do it, I have work to do, I'm working. People usually very understanding, like, yeah, work is very important or whatnot, and we respect that, sure, do your work. But the problem is when you're a freelancer or when you have a project of your own, like I do, I'm both freelancer and I have this project of my own. People for some reason don't take it as work, and a lot of the time what happens, you tell them, well, sorry, I cannot do this, I'm working, or you didn't answer the phone, and then you later say, sorry, I was working, and people ask, well, you was working what? You was doing, like, your day job was on the weekend, you had like something on the project like from your day job, or what? And you're saying, no, I was freelancing. And people don't understand, usually already don't like it on this level. Or even worse, when you say, oh, sorry, I was drawing my comic, I was doing that. And I guess to people it sounds like I was just doing my hobby. It's like probably they listen, like hearing it sometimes like I was watching TV, or I was playing this video game, or I don't know, I was playing with my dog, or I don't know, I was like playing with guitar. Like the people don't consider that work, and that's very so people, yeah, so people don't consider that to be work. People don't take it seriously, not serious enough, not consider it to be good enough of an excuse to, for example, not be available, or, you know, call them later, like a couple hours later, or say, hey, sorry, like stuff came up, like I'm doing a lot of things, I will be late, or can we move, like, because, you know, I have to do this. That's the problem that occurs to me, and the main thing about this is that people get upset, people get angry at you, and the thing is, no matter how much you explain, like they don't get it, they still don't consider it to be work, even though, like, I personally put same or if not more amount of hours into my comic as I put my comic, my YouTube, and some of my freelance together than more than my day job, like maybe 40-50 hours a week. And the thing is, yeah, people still don't take it seriously, and I have not like deadline for my comic. Like, it's a big project, and if I'm gonna be, drawing today, not drawing tomorrow, and then like 3 days just hang out with friends and do other things, and then maybe draw like for an hour and then do something else. If this is the approach they're gonna take, I'm not gonna finish my comic in my lifetime. That's kind of something that I keep in mind. I have to be working on it, and I'm not like, it's not a negative thing. I enjoy doing it, but it's something that it's like I have to be working on it. I cannot be using it as a hobby, like, living my life, and then on Sunday I decided to draw a little bit. It's not like that. I'm very committed to this. I invest hours in it every week. And so what makes me personally have anxiety is that when people want my attention and I have to tell them that I have to actually catch up with a lot of work on my comic. I have to, get ahead a little bit here. I need to do some things. And people, and I know as I'm saying it, and I know like people get upset, get offended, they don't take it seriously, they don't think it's a valid reason. And because they don't see it like work, that type of word, they don't consider that. And then people get upset, and I'm afraid to upset people, and then that people, reach out and I say, sorry, I'm working. They, instead of saying, okay, no problem, let's figure out something for the next time, they get upset. Then and they push away or something like this, and they might just not just be upset, just give you like some vibe back, and then you have to reach out and apologize, type of thing, like that type of thing, like as if you did something wrong and now there's people pushing back. And so this dynamic is something that I've been struggling kind of like most of my life when I had like a day job, like a long time day job. Like it was like when I was at school and university and I had this freelance gig on the time, I usually had more time to actually spend more time socializing and whatnot. But this time when I have also day job as well, it's like, it feels like people just, that's the kind of like the problem, and it gives me a lot of anxiety. So it's almost like either work on your passion project, something that you really, really care about, something like your life. I don't know, it sounds easy, but it's like, to me, my comic's kind of like my life purpose. I have to see it this way because this project gonna take majority of my life to complete. And I've been doing it for a very long time. That's an important project for me. And I have to choose between that, succeeding in that, like succeeding for my standards, like drawing enough and, being happy with what I did this week, for example, or over this month. Choosing between that or not being a bad guy for your friends, and it's because I guess not many people, like I'm very, in my group of friends, I stand out as this workaholic friend, and I never see workaholic as a bad word. I think it should be everything in our life, which should have like social structure. We have to have friends, family, partners. We have to have like stuff that we do, and we also have to have like our life work. A lot of like, it's great if it's matches to your day job. For me, it's half matches my day job. I really love my day job, but also like to me, this is also this project. And so to me, both are important, and I definitely give time to my friends, but I'm not able to, if my friends just want to, call me and chat for like a couple hours on the phone and they want to do it every other day, like I don't have time for that. I don't have brain capacity for that. And even though I care about them, like for me, it feels like, okay, you're calling me, do you have problem? How can I help? Or do you want to meet and talk? Like if it's neither of this, if you're just bored and you want to chat, or you're doing something and you want to chat, I'm the wrong friend for that. Like that's not, it's difficult for me because it distracts me from doing my work and I feel like I'm missing out. It's just, that's kind of like, this is a very weird situation. So basically, long story short, we might gonna round out back to this, and maybe I'm gonna do a whole video about this because it's something that's been like a thing that I've been a little bit struggling because people just don't take it seriously. So sometimes I just have to, lie and say, hey, sorry, your job came up on the weekend, and they're like, oh, sure, no problem, take your time. We're standards, right? Something that you're really passionate about and you care about, something that your business that you're building is like a hobby and not taken serious, and working on this is like, how dare you? But day job that you're gonna have to do yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so basically what happened, like I noticed that I was socializing with my friends on the weekends more time lately, and I felt like I'm not keeping up with my comic as much as I wanted to. Like, and when I feel like I'm not doing enough, first of all, as I said, like if I'm not drawing enough, I feel like my not like skill goes down, but my speed and efficiency goes down a little bit, and I don't like it. And also, like I just feel I need to produce at least 4 pages per month to be, you know, up speed with my releases. But I usually produce more, like at this point. So when I see that I produce like just 4 pages, like last week I just did 2 pages. Last month I did just 2 pages, which is okay because I was also outlining chapter 9. So I outlines the whole chapter. That's okay that I didn't complete pages. But if I'm like having like 4 pages that completed, like I don't like this. I know that, you know, what was taking my time, and did I like this giving that time as much. So, and also I just got feeling this like anxiety that I wish I could be doing more of my comic. Like I feel like I'm kept away from my comic, and I don't like this. And it's just, yeah, it just makes me feel unhappy and nervous. Not like nervous, I don't want to use like, it's not like a negative thing. It's like, you know, imagine there's something that you absolutely love doing that makes you happy, and also every time you do it you make progress. Kind of think exercise, like you really love exercise and you really love building your body, and the more time you spend the better it gets, but the more time you take off, it's kind of like almost feels like a reverse progress, and this also makes you unhappy. It's like this is kind of type of thing. And I also knew, so I was approaching this weekend, and I knew that I want to do a lot of work for my comic. I just wanted to kind of lock myself in and just work and just enjoy this. To me, it's like such a me time. It's very important. Like, I don't know. It's just, I just love this. I need it. I need to do it a lot. So, but this weekend, it was like on Saturday, you know, one friend wanted to meet, another friend wanted to go for a walk. But then my grandma called, my mom called, my sister called. I know my family kind of scattered everywhere. This is kind of how my family operates. Everybody's very dependent and like likes to, you know, be places. So everybody called that, and it's like the whole Saturday. And I also need to do like just, you know, life errand, and the whole Saturday, boom, gone. So Sunday, I also was supposed to meet with a friend, and I know it's a COVID time, so we're going for a walk. Don't worry, like I'm basically meeting just with 2 friends. This is the same friends I've been quarantining with. One lives literally in my building. So and we had this scheduled, and I was like, I really, like, I got nervous because, you know, when you have, you know, something scheduled, you have to go, and then you have to commute time, and then you cannot be like, you know, with a friend and saying, oh, sorry, just looking at the clock, I need to go right now. It's not right. And so it's like not known how long it's gonna take. And then I don't know, it's like I started getting nervous, and then eventually I talked with a friend and she had things to do, so we discussed that we're gonna not do it this week. So I got excited, and I was like, okay, this Sunday I'm gonna work a lot, and I'm gonna do as much done to kind of get this feel like this is kind of my only chance to do work and, like, you know, do my thing this weekend, because I don't know what's gonna happen next weekend. I don't know. So I pushed myself and I finished this page, and I know I was not really in the best mindset, not like mindset, like not in the best headspace. I was a little not super present with my work, because how I like to just really enjoy every stroke and make every stroke mean. I like just be very present and know what I'm doing. And this time around, it was just something in my head, just was like, get it done. Did you complete the shoulder? Did you complete the ear? Did you complete the nose? Did you complete, go next? So it's like more pushy thing, like I wanted to. And it's like I'm saying everything that I'm saying you not to do in all my videos about motivation and pushing yourself and burning out. Like that happened to me. I'm talking from my own experience. And I was doing this, again, not because, like, I love doing it, but I also had this pressure of this, I only have so much time doing this, because then people gonna be asking for my attention. And if I say I need to do my thing, everybody gonna be upset at me. People gonna be not liking me anymore, and everybody gonna push me away because I do what I love. You know, I know it's I'm not saying anything negative about my friends. They're great people, but it's just this misunderstanding because I'm like just that weirdo who works a lot. So and then I know I push myself too hard, and I also recorded a couple videos for YouTube. Not couple, I actually recorded 4 videos. I recorded quite a lot of videos, and I'm actually very happy with all of them. And one of them was very long. One of them was 40 minutes long, is for my series on how to create a comic. It was about length of the comic. It was very lengthy video. Oh, matchy. Very lengthy video. And then at the same time, I also recorded this long video that is a little maybe controversial, that I didn't know, should I post or not, should I do or not, but it's kind of something I wanted to speak on. And I recorded it just because I felt like talking about it. And it's about how lately artists are being it's kind of like people are literally looking for harmful messages in art, and it's kind of, I'm as an artist, I'm thinking, well, everybody in my comic can be seen as harmful messaging, I guess, because lens of the culture is so complicated, and every culture has their own problems and their own things. And I made a whole video explaining, for example, how what does it mean, how discrimination looks in Russia versus where I grew up. Versus how it looks in US and Canada, like in the West, and how, to me, for example, people who are marginalized here, they don't look marginalized to Russian community. And it's very complicated. I was basically going into depth about my own upbringing, me being Jewish in Russia, and how coming to Canada, it was very weird, because the way I'm perceived and what people perceive me, like privileges do I have or disadvantages that I had, how what people perceived here is completely wrong because they perceive it from the basis of what they know about the Western culture, and in Russia it doesn't work, and it's just very complicated. And I wanted just to explain that, but I know that because this topic is a little bit controversial, but I wanted to talk about it and add my 5 cents to the conversation, say, hey, these things look different around the world, and Western culture is not the only culture that exists, and a lot of people, it can look different, basically. So I recorded that video, and long story short, I think it's just some, I don't know, universe interference. The universe wanted to tell me to slow down because on Monday, so basically my computer glitched and it corrupted everything that I did on Sunday. And I have a time machine, like a backup on my computer, and that backup got full, and it didn't, and I was like, okay, nothing's gonna happen, right? So my computer glitched. I tried to, it wouldn't just allow me to open anything, like get access to any files. And I restarted like softly, and then it still wouldn't let me. I restarted hard level, like what the hell, what the process? We need to kill some process that is blocking the RAM or something like this. And what the computer did, it's just backed up and completely kind of like backed up from the latest backup that was and like the early in the day on Sunday. So basically everything I did on Sunday got erased. So basically my computer kind of time machined itself back to beginning of Sunday as if Sunday didn't happen. So all the files were at this stage, they were at the beginning of Sunday, and the videos that I recorded as well, because I transferred them to the computer and deleted them from the camera, because I just said, well, they're on computer already, so it's fine. Deleted them from camera. So all the videos also disappeared. And I was devastated. And a funny thing, the only thing I could recover, like I'm saying could, not I did, is something from the camera, because I could grab the camera, and there are softwares that can show if you deleted files, they're still usually there. They're just kind of invisible, and everything you save or use your card for kind of gets saved over the invisible files, and then they get erased. So technically I can recover. I ran the program, and the only thing that could recover is this controversial video that I recorded, and the program is paid. So if you want to recover, you have to pay $100. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it's a sign that it's not the right time to do this video. And I really don't want to, get my raise my subscriber count on YouTube through the controversy. That's not what I want. I'm here to teach people art and like empower other artists to do their thing. And maybe I need to think a little bit more about this video and how I want to present it, because I also don't want to take attention from actual issues that are happening. So I want I need to make this video better, or not make this video. I don't know. Maybe I should not speak. Maybe the problems that are happening in the West. I'm an immigrant. Maybe I still have not enough understanding, and maybe I don't know. it's complicated. So basically I thought it is a sign and I didn't just throw this video. So basically I lost all the progress and I got absolutely devastated, super upset. It's like, when you try to catch up and then this happens, and was very difficult. And I had a lot of vacation days at work and actually requested Tuesday off, mostly because I needed for myself just calmly restore the pages that I kind of draw them again, mostly because I absolutely hate not just kind of draw something again, something I already drew, and like close the door off on. I don't like drawing it again. It's just mentally, I absolutely hate it. And sometimes if I can, I will just draw something else instead. I will change the panels. I will change it. I will rather do something else than draw it again. And it's the same when I was like writing a novel. If something in the computer got corrupted, like computer corruption happened to me a lot, got corrupted, like for example, I lost a chapter or something like this, I would be devastated. And in the end, I will actually change the plot a little bit and like write a different chapter. I don't know. This is kind of like, I just feel like I do it once type of person. And then if I have to do it again, I cannot do the same thing. I don't know. It's my thing. For work, I can. For my personal project, I cannot. So I was actually restoring everything. And that's actually what you will be seeing. At this point, we're still on Saturday. Actually, what we're drawing like right now it's like around 4 p.m., 5 p.m.-ish. On Saturday, like I had to draw a little bit. I included a little bit of Friday here just to give you guys a little bit of content. But this is kind of my spiel of what happened. It's I'm backing up my things a lot, but unfortunately once in a blue moon, things like this are going to happen. And then because I'm working from home and I'm working VFX, I'm using a lot of complicated and heavy 3D programs. My computer gets overloaded. I need to be on top of the things, even though I got a lot of RAM lately. Like, I'm really investing in computer. My computer is new. I got it when pandemic started because for work from home. And unfortunately, things like this do happen. And this is something that happened to me not once. It happened to me maybe 5-7 times, maybe even 10, like with different like stuff with this comic, like even when it was a novel that happened, I was losing things, no matter the computer, no matter the thing. And I try to be on top of my backup, but even, losing a day, it's just emotionally difficult, especially if it was a day that, you worked hard, and especially just I described to you kind of my mindset about it, and that I was not in the right mindset. But I thought maybe it is, in a way, a good thing. I needed to just, it was a wake-up call. I needed to stop, pause, recoup, and realize that I need to fix my mindset a little bit. I have to get in a better mindset and have a better headspace. So I spent the day kind of more relaxy. Like I completed the pages. You will see. We will go through it with you together. But the thing is, then I spend the time. I have an electric scooter, not the one you sit on, like the standing one. It's very cool. I really like my scooter. It's called Wide Wheels by Marcane, and it's dope. Google it. I recommend everybody get it. And it's super powerful, cool scooter. So I just like to take it and just cruise around the city. And as you guys know, I live in Toronto, and I like to cruise by Harbourfront, by the lake, by Lake Ontario, and it's so beautiful. And it was a very nice spring day. And that's something that I needed to just, calm down, and I need to maybe think about it and realize how I need to establish my boundaries, because if I'm going to be going more in the direction of me having my business and creating my project and making it my business, I do need to establish boundaries with people around me and say, hey, if I'm working no matter what I'm working on, and kind of have this confidence come from me, and kind of like not apologetic for that. And just explain it to people, because I feel we all also have like periods of our life that we do different things. I feel like for me now it is a period of my life to build this platform for my comic. Obviously, I'm already creating my comic. I'm doing a lot for YouTube, which I absolutely love. Maybe it is the time, especially I'm thinking, well, it's pandemic. I'm pretty extroverted as well, so I do like go out, talk to people, meet interesting people, have conversation. I absolutely love it. And I was also was a little bit down, like, it was hard for everybody, but I like to be like zen on as much as I can. And I was trying to be very calm and like, okay, I like sitting at home as well, but it was getting to me lately. And I decided, okay, maybe, we're still sitting at home. The best thing, maybe it's just the time in our lives to do something else. And I realized, okay, I'm going to spend all this time that we're spending at home to push it and build my YouTube channel more. That's why I started to do more videos, work even more on my comic, do more, like push more, create more content, like get as much information to you as well, and as much as I can. And I also interact with you guys on Instagram and always ask what do you want to hear, what you want to know. I always listen to people. I talk a lot about, like, with people in DM about some art stuff and to other artists. So I really passionate about delivering information and creating my own comic and teaching everything I can. So I thought this is the time for that. And I really pushing and taking seriously to build as much as I can. So probably I need to establish healthier boundaries about it and, say, hey, it's something that I do. This is something who I am. I work a lot. I really love what I do. And, I like meaningful interaction with people. I'm not really the type of friend who just sip coffee and just talk about whatever happens in life. I like to, let's go to this place that do sip coffee, but, meet when, we want to talk about something substantial, important. And, if we don't just chat, that's maybe like about just random stuff, just, because you feel like chatting with somebody. I'm just not the right person and not the right friend for that. Just, I don't know. That's complicated. That is something that I keep struggling with. So, what a nice drawing podcast of me just talking about struggles in my life. And obviously I have personal life, so I'm not even talking about this on YouTube. That's not going to be discussed. But yeah, this is just more, it's like everything platonic in my life. That's what we're going to be discussing. The rest, not really. And, but yeah, so... this is kind of the situation. And also I was struggling. Okay, let's actually talk about what I'm actually doing on the screen for once, like 25 minutes in. Sure, let's do it for fun. So basically I actually use this video recording and I kind of put fragments of it in the video that will be coming out about things that I'm struggling to draw, or I don't know how I'm gonna call it, but something I'm talking about what is still not easy for me to draw. And this pose, this face pose, is the core of this video. I actually realized I'm gonna do this full on YouTube video just because as I was drawing this face pose. As you can see, like, we've been with this for a while, and the thing is I'm struggling with that one. It's not the easy one for me. So yeah, for me this particular pose is kind of tricky just because I think it's not just 3/4 where the face is turned, it's mostly profile, so we see so much of the head from the side and we see just a little bit. And I feel even if you just take a picture of a person in this particular angle, it's gonna look kind of weird. Like, to me, the areas that trip me out is the eye that is farthest from the camera, and also the mouth, like the lips itself. They kind of look strange, especially in the corner that is like almost edges with the like edge of the face, because it's hard, like, it's because the mouth, it's not like the angle where you're looking to the mouth from the side. We can kind of like see through it, and it's not like drawing the mouth on the front when you can look inside of it. And the eye itself, it's just, I don't know. So sometimes I feel like even if you draw, like if I look at the photos, like at the reference of my own face, because this is the face that I can turn the way I want, my face look kind of stupid from this angle. I don't know, and I don't like how it looks. Not because like it's not pretty, it just looks strange. It looks kind of strange. I don't know. I think maybe this type of turn of the head in the conversation is good idea in concept, or good idea in the comic that is more, for example, 3D, more like cartoon style. But in the comic that is maybe like has this more realistic rendering, this idea doesn't work. So yeah, I'm switching to another face, another character, but I'm pretty sure I didn't finish with that one. I know for a fact I'm going to be returning to this, but I think at this point, this is kind of how it works. As you draw and as you look at the character for a long time, you think, oh, that looks right, that looks correct. And then you go to another panels, and then maybe you're open, maybe you see the page kind of like smaller in the preview when you're looking through, you know, the folder or something like this. And then you're like, no, something is not right. And then you get back to it to start drawing. So yeah, I didn't feel satisfied with this face still. Yeah, as you can see, I'm returning. And yeah, this angle is kind of strange. And before I used to, for example, if I ran out in like a complicated angle of the, for example, face, I would start drawing out lines. I think in this recording, I did it quickly once and then I gave up on it, but I would just actually draw the lines, like connect the, for example, inner corner of the eye with a line, outer corner of the eye with a line, and then the same with the nose, with edges of the lips, and then I would create a straight line going through the face and then start to organize if everything is aligned, everything is correctly in perspective. And yeah, as I said, I started doing it here because I got a little desperate, but then I quickly realized it doesn't really work. Like sometimes it's the way it looks wrong has nothing to do with necessarily like geometry, like not geometry, like putting all these lines in place, mathematically calculating all of this. Sometimes it's really just about the feeling, like it just feels wrong. So you gotta literally operate by the feeling alone, because, you know, faces are not symmetrical. Faces can look strange, and it's just sometimes you're just going for, you know, feeling or something like this. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be returning to this face, but now I decided to switch to this panel, and I'm doing my favorite trick with hair. And actually this particular one is already me drawing on Tuesday. So I actually, this particular panel I completed, and I completed everything, and I actually decided to draw it a little different. I'm gonna actually tell. So I think actually in the biggest, like in a bigger scale, I'm kind of grateful that this happened, because I think because as I was finishing this particular 2 pages, I was pushing myself to just finish instead of just enjoying the process. And I think it always comes out better when you enjoy the process naturally. So I think this time when I was redrawing certain things, I kind of did them a little bit differently, because I'm like, okay, Christina, don't be rushing, and just, you know, finish them and draw them the way you feel like they should be drawn, and the feel like just enjoy the process rather than just, you know, count minutes till it's done. So, for example, one of the differences that I decided to do in the previous version, this hand that I'm drawing of the character, I decided to blur out, so I draw it more roughly, and at the end I decided to use the blur filter and to kind of like blur it out, to kind of put it in defocus behind the character. In this particular version I decided to keep it focused, and I think it's also because my feeling I wanted to blur it out was kind of has to do with that I didn't quite like how this hand was looking. I don't know, but I'm happy with this panel too. I did, I think, hair, Corey's hair on the edge more detailed and more interesting. And yeah, and it's like literally it's just, I remember like the information that I lost in the end, it's ended up as I started drawing after I overcame this initial dismay and being completely outraged and upset. I realized information that I lost, because usually when you lose information you feel like, oh, that was like the golden thing, I'll never do anything this good ever again. But then you start drawing, you're like, no, I actually can improve. And yeah, that really helped me. And it's like, you see how I'm drawing like little folds and whatnot, and this is usually how I draw. I like to just be this, you know, artist who goes into all the details and start drawing. And this particular one, I just drew, I think, kind of more details in hair, and I did a little bit more variation, and I just enjoyed the process, you know, far more. Before it was like going through the motions, like, okay, now we finished drawing the folds, now we finished drawing, now we have to start drawing the edges of the hair, and now we're gonna draw like the highlights within the hair and whatnot. And it's just go and like executing the plan. And this is not how I want to draw my comic, you know, because this is not a day job, this is my passion project, and I just want to go with the flow and enjoy it 100%. And I wasn't doing it on a Sunday just because I put a lot of pressure on myself. And on Tuesday, like now as I'm drawing it, I'm actually really enjoying. I am listening to some nice music, and actually this time I decided to play music. Usually I'm listening to podcasts if I'm doing something like this, but this time I put like some relaxing music and was just letting myself to just enjoy the process. Another thing that I noticed with the scenes like this that's a little bit on the dark side, like for example evenings or nights, I don't like drawing them in the morning because my window is facing south, and every time I'm drawing scenes like this in the morning, I feel like I don't know, like I can't see details because it's so bright. I have to not like close the windows, supposed like close the shades. I don't know. So I also kind of appreciated that I had like it was like a more overcasty day that day, so it was very nice. So yeah, just finishing touches. It's nothing crazy. And I think, I realized, this is like the final thing that I did that I realized, okay, now it's better. Like I made the eye smaller. I think this angle in particular has something to do with eye shape overall being complicated from this certain angle, because eye overall is a very complicated shape. Like, let's admit it. And there's one way it looks from the side, another way it looks from like the front. And when you start drawing it from different angles, you need to really, it's almost like you have to realize, okay, we're drawing the eye in an unusual angle, keep it together, remember everything you learn about anatomy throughout your life and do it right. And I think sometimes if I start being like, whatever, I'm just enjoying it and don't like pay attention to that, okay, you have to be apprehensive. This is a more complicated angle. This is where first try I don't get it super right because I just, messing around. And also I feel there's a certain degree of like when you draw lines and then you start drawing the shading, lines kind of look different and lines have different feel, and certain things work better in lines, because in lines it's still a type of stylizing, right? Like lines are you always kind of stylize so things read right in lines, even though if you really take a picture of a person and outline them, like just draw a line around the like edges of their body, like eyes and eyebrows, and then you kind of remove the photo that you're outlining and just stay with lines, it's gonna look odd. So lines, they kind of add something to sell it to look right. So it's kind of like everything you draw has to do with this, not just science behind how you draw it, like all the studies. A lot of things has to do with like feeling. Does it feel right, and sometimes to make something feel right and feel drawn correctly and realistically, you have to actually draw it unrealistically. So I feel like when I'm drawing lines for my comic, like obviously stylizing, and when I start drawing more realistic style and realize that even where I put the eye, where I put the brow might be the wrong placement overall. So this is different page. I know it's hard to tell, like actually I'm jumping between two pages because they're kind of similar, because there's people are standing in the same places and they're kind of having the same kind of conversation. And I have Kuroi and Dark, the guy behind him, kind of standing in the same poses, semi the same poses in two pages. So, but this one is kind of where I got initially upset the most with this particular page. And then I got more kind of happy that pages got deleted. So because it has this, like now I'm finishing Kuroi, like adding some eyebrows. This is what I didn't do in the previous version. Like I didn't draw his eyebrows a little better, and and actually I decided to reuse the top of his head. Why not? I like reusing when I can, but so actually, so this, now we're gonna be drawing this hand. And originally, this is what I finished on Sunday, which got deleted. But when I drew this hand, I kind of like was, I don't want to, kind of, this is like a boring hand position. At the same time, it's not that complicated, but you kind of like have to think about it as you draw it, right? And when I drew it then and then realized it got deleted, I was like, no, this hand that I drew that I don't want to draw again, this I didn't want to draw then, like and now it's deleted and I hate it and I have to draw it again, something that I don't want to draw. And actually, I'm glad that it got deleted, because last time the way I drew it, I didn't draw like this darkness underneath the fingers, so you can see how fingers kind of like lighter against the darkness that is within like is it within the palm of it? I think it's in this area called the palm. Like last time as I drew it, like palm wasn't as dark, and I think last version was weaker one, because I was really relying on lines to bring fingers in front, which is like a very like weak way to do it and not so advanced and so professional. But this time, and I remember like as I was drawing it last time, I was thinking, Christina, actually it would look better if you just darken the area of the palm, and then fingers gonna stand out on their own, and it's just gonna look better. And now it's because that time it was like all kind of one shade, and it was like feeling a little off, but I was like, no, I just need to get it done, I just need to complete it, so I'm not going to be bothering, because like darkening something there is not going to be an easy process, going to look clumsy, I'm not going to do it, it's done, we finished the hand, whatever, moving on. So and then it got deleted. So I feel like it was some interference of a high power. I don't know. I'm not religious like that. But sometimes, you start thinking like gods of comics kind of said, no, do it better. So don't half-ass it. So yeah, this time I got an opportunity, and I actually, as I was drawing it, I was remembering what I didn't do right in the bigger scheme of things, and I darkened the palm. So, and now I'm pretty happy with the way hand turned out. I just don't like necessarily like hands. It's still I can draw hands in so many details. Like hands are so complicated, and I feel like hands are this thing in drawing a comic that you gotta stylize. Like it's just something that if you draw it correctly, it's gonna take so much attention, and if you're gonna start drawing it too realistically, it's gonna steal the attention. It's just so complicated. You're gonna have to stylize it, and I feel I stylize hands the most to kind of take attention away from them, because if you actually look at the hands and start drawing hands, they have so much details, and they're so complicated. So I try to stylize them a little bit. And yes, this page is done. You have no idea how happy I felt as I was finishing and putting this final touches, the glow that I really like. I just like putting glow. I feel like it brings everything together. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, but it kind of like feels like it's all together. And yeah, feeling so happy that I completed that page. So I lost this one and the previous one that I just finished. For this one, actually also I felt relief, because I just drew this girl like from scratch for this panel, and this time I was like, whatever, heck that, I just gonna reuse. I can't. And I realized actually last time I drew it, I also wasn't quite happy with how I drew it. I mean, it was all right, but it's like, it's like the feeling. It's like you look at it and you cannot say that it is wrong. It doesn't look worse, but you just feel that something is not right for you. So I also like this kind of like with the hand, like I was like moving on. And for this one, I realized I wanted to draw it better, but at the same time, I kind of didn't want to draw this angle, and I decided just to reuse this one. And I think it's a better choice just because just looking how it just flows from one page to another, it just makes sense that it's like always you want to like interesting camera angle, or you want just this consistency that, kind of shot, counter shot, you one character talking, the camera, kind of virtual camera looks at them, then it looks on another character they're talking to, then back at them, and it should be like similar, so it's not distracting, unless you want to say something with your camera moves. In this particular situation, I really don't want to say anything with my camera moves, and I think it makes more sense to kind of reuse it and keep kind of like the same angle. Maybe like I'm changing her features a little bit, like she has a little bit of different face and I also appraising a little bit because I scaled it up, but it just makes sense to just reuse it from another frame and have her from the very same angle, and size wise she kind of works better with like Croy, like camera zooms on Croy a little bit, because we need his reaction, because he's kind of being like what she's saying, his reaction to what she's saying is kind of important. He's like trying to keep it cool, but he's a little grumpy about all of this. But yeah, I felt like the size of her head and like there looks just better. So yeah, those two pages are done. I'm very, very, very happy. I'm so satisfied. I feel so relieved. Like this is where like this dark feeling of what happened left me. So once it's done, I'm on to what I call like preparing pages. So after I've done lining them out and I'm fine with lines, like as you can see, my lines for the characters are not deeply detailed and clean. Like I don't care for the lines as long as I understand what they do, as long as everything, my rule is like draw, kind of position everything, draw like a rough line for everything, eyes, nose, everything, as long as this is there, line is done. And what I like to do, I like to create this base color. So I always have a layer for the lines and always have the layer for this base colors. And I use the same base colors. So you can see on the left, I'm using the page that is actually finished. I just kind of disabled all the layers of the actual painting on top, and I have the same base layer kind of thing. And I like having the same base layer for all the elements of the character: skin, brows, eyes, clothes, hair, all the elements. I like to have like the same base color across the all the pages, all the panels with the same character. I think just because it's kind of makes sure like the fact that the base colors are the same, make sure that whatever I do with painting on top, like it's guarantees like as like this extra layer of guarantee the fact that it's going to be consistent color wise and going to have consistent feeling. And also just overall, I always like to have this feeling like my characters in with those colors, just because it creates this base, so I don't have to like paint everything from the start, like start painting from nothingness, you know, kind of like this blue background that I have also kind of has the same idea. So I don't have white. I hate having white as the background, and I don't like really starting to draw my characters just start painting. I like to have this BG color underneath every element of them, and it helps to just already give information. And I feel then I have to do less brush strokes and add less color and add less painting, because like, you know, it has base color already. So I don't know if it makes sense, but I feel like it saves time and shows me already how the colors blend, and creates this soft blending between the colors that I can color pick as I'm painting. So this is the thing that I use all the time, and before I start painting the page. So there's 3 things that I need to check: is the base color for the character, bubbles and lines for the dividing the panels, and background. I want to have this all set up as I'm drawing and before I even start painting, because this is kind of, to me, I just, you know, it feels organized. It feels like those basic things are taken care of. And then as I'm looking through my pages, for example, in the Finder, like the folder system, and I have previews, it already gives me an idea where which background is. And even if the characters are not drawn completely, they still like in sketch style, like 2D type of color, it still gives me a good idea how the scene is starting to look like, and it gives me idea of where the background is, how the character is moving, and if there is any inconsistencies, I can catch them very easily. And yeah, so you will see I'm putting backgrounds last. I don't know, this is how I just like doing it, because as I'm putting backgrounds, it kind of brings it all together. And sometimes I also like this glow layer that I have. Sometimes I also add glow layer in the stage as well. But yeah, and I add backgrounds, and backgrounds I like either grab them from the, you know, pages that I have open, or like, for example, this one, like I already have this character. I already kind of have a background with this character of this closeness, so I can just grab this background from another page. For some background, I will need to grab it from my actual background file. And if I can grab it from the page that I have open, I'd rather grab it from the page, just because background file is huge, and opening it means, you know, I need to pay attention that I'm not killing completely my RAM on my computer, because those files are ginormous. And yeah, so this time, I think for this one, I just totally grabbed everything from page 47 and totally reused it. So that page was set up. Now it's up to this page, and you know, I don't know, just preparing pages like this is overall so relaxing, because you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to really, you know, draw something through. It just feels like just organization. It doesn't feel like actual doing an actual work. It almost feels like setting things up to do the work. Like, you know, is if you have like your, you know, color, watercolor, for example, or oil paints or something like this, and you're setting it all up to start working as you're putting your canvas on, as you're opening your paints, as you're setting up your brushes and whatnot. This is kind of how it feels, just organization and preparation. And it's so easy, you know, it's like, this is another thing, like it gives you, like, the page goes from absolute 0 to, you know, feeling like it's 50% there, and even though it's maybe not 50% there, but with backgrounds it really feels like very, very done. That's kind of why I like backgrounds. It's you literally just, the only thing I'm drawing are characters, and I just cannot, I'm so grateful that I switched to drawing backgrounds separately. It really saved me so much life. Like, imagine I would have to draw background individually for each panel, and then, oh my gosh, it's gonna be taking so much time. I would never be able to, you know, complete my comic or complete any chapter. No, I mean, I will be able to complete some chapters, but not much. But yeah, and also sometimes as I'm doing this, I'm realizing, okay, maybe bubbles should be moved around, as I'm realizing if they're covering something, which character they're connected to. And also with bubbles, I know a lot of people, they use software and then create like some ovals, something like this, but I find it absolutely enjoyable to just, you know, draw them. Oh, I stopped drawing for some reason. If in my camera, like if I stop drawing, seemingly for some reason, there is a few reasons why I'm doing it. One, either I'm drinking like either coffee or Starbucks that I have. I get black tea lemonade all the time if I can. So this is usually I'm taking a pause to drink it, or I am applying lip balm, or I'm applying hand cream. This is like just 3 reasons. If the camera pauses, that's why. Or I sneezed, like literally 4 reasons if you see a pause, and sometimes I cannot catch them in the editing, so sometimes and that's very short also, I'm leaving them in. So with bubbles, I don't know, I find this very specific enjoyment in just drawing them by hand. I don't know, I feel like they have this almost individuality to them, or even though, as you can see, as I was drawing them before, you see like I have to do several tries to get them right. And oh, look at this backgrounds. The moment you put backgrounds in, like, damn. Yeah, and sometimes, like, if I have background, like, for example, with this one, I have this background, but I know that the angle is a little different. So I don't mind just connecting and, like, literally this is why I'm using, like, not painting, but photoshopping. Just, kind of, like, using fragments of the picture to make it work. Like, I'm scaling, transforming and making sure it works, like, showing more, like... to show more, for example, of the grass. Now I'm taking, like you see, I took like completely another background from another side and it makes it together. Yeah, and for this one, I think my backgrounds don't have as much information as I would like to. I think corners, like this background, like, yeah, so I realized I need to grab it from original background file. And this background file, how I like doing it, if I'm drawing a big background and I know that it's not going to be all used, I will draw it to cover the biggest panel, like the panel that shows of this background the most. And this is the area of backgrounds that I cover and paint. But then if I have another let's say panel that shows a little bit more of this background from odd angle, this is where I individually would go and like do this background. So I try not to draw background just completely, because a lot of the time I will not be using it and I don't want to waste time. So I just draw as much as the biggest panel need, and usually it's good to go for the whole scene. And if there is one odd panel that shows a little bit more background, I just gonna just draw it through. So yeah, I think it will be the last page that I do this background preparation for. And so now in this scene, there are several, it's pretty much a big scene, but as I'm drawing it, I'm definitely skipping some of the pages because some of the pages have like the flashback. It's have a flashback scene and the colors change a little bit. And I usually draw scene by scene. And but even within the scene, if I have like a little flashback situation or something like this, a couple of panels, so like a character remembering something and have different color combination, then I will not be, I will consider those flashbacky frames separate scene, and I will be skipping this. So for this particular scene, I'm actually skipping a couple of them. So we see how this character like squinting and something happens because like he actually kind of got back from having a flashback. So the previous page I'm actually leaving for the last, and I'm not gonna be drawing it as I'm drawing this scene. You will see, like as I'm going with this like weekend drawing session, you will see how closer to the end of completing the whole chapter, I will draw kind of very specific pages of the scene. And there's another pages in the scene where there's magic, and this magic affects kind of the lighting, and this also leaving for last. But I think I'm almost done with all the pages that have this specific lighting situation. I think so. Yeah, I think so. And also for this one, I think background needs to be touched individually. Like you see how I have this background, but the angle of the ground doesn't really work. Yeah, I painted something on top and I feel like it will need to be addressed. And then I have those creatures. I will draw them, freestyle them. So yeah, when it's done, now this is a fun part and you just start enjoying. And I actually love drawing faces, and I love the situation when I have the same character and different faces of the same character in abundance across several pages, and I can just immerse myself in drawing literally a face of one character for a long time. I actually want to do a whole video when I'm just gonna do a compilation of me drawing just the same character in multiple angles and everything, just compilation of just one face kind of being drawn several times, because I have a video of how to draw your character consistently, but I want to also like there explain the theory behind this, but I also want to do like a video when I show to you how I draw the same face kind of again and again and again and again, and maybe it will give kind of like idea of things that we will start noticing, what I keep my attention on what I keep in mind when I'm drawing this. And it's always, every time I ever start drawing like more real, like painted through style from lines, I have to change the proportions. Like this is something that happened because like it's all like I want to say it looks all right in lines, but it doesn't look all right in like full color. But this particular one, you saw the lines for this one, they're completely like chicken scratch. I was like, what? That's eyes, that's nose. Okay, we got the character. It works. So yeah, for this particular one, it doesn't really count, but I always, as I'm drawing, I'm changing proportions. And this is another thing, as much as I start drawing through, the more I notice that certain proportions are not working. Like on this level, eyes and everything looks good. But then as I start drawing, I realize, oh no, the angle of the eyes, like kind of like the more realistic the style becomes, the less grotesque things I have to keep. Like, see, oh, I mirrored. That's what happens when you mirror an image. It's like initial horror of things being very ugly, and you're like, oh no, transforming everything, be with me. Yeah, it's kind of like, especially on this stage, it's very important to just keep free transforming and keep mirroring your canvas and mirroring your picture. Yeah, it's like because it's yeah, this is just the thing to get your faces looking nice. Just keep doing like mirroring and making sure it looks from in different way, it looks correct. It's really helpful to do, just because we get adjusted. Like as we're drawing something, we get adjusted and like seeing it as norm, and then you flip it with the mirror and you immediately see all the mistakes that you missed before. It's not to make the character looking like perfect, symmetrical face type of character. That is not the point at all. The point is just to help yourself to see more errors and more mistakes that you would otherwise miss if you just starting from one way. And it's just, see how I flipped. Now I am drawing this side, and now this side is starting to look good, but I gotta mirror again back, and it's again not gonna look good. Like, because again, as I started being comfortable from this angle, I was like, oh, nice, yes, now it's perfectly fine. And then I'm gonna mirror again, and it's again, mistakes are gonna be there. And then by the end, when I finish, you just mirror back and forth, and it looks straight. And on both, like in both ways. So this is where it's correct. And here I also decided to like reuse one of his like eyes, because I felt like there was something different, wasn't the size of the eyes and the size of the pupil, and I decided to just reuse it. Yeah, I just like that. This is the best moment of when I'm drawing. It's not when I'm finishing. It's this one, is then when you see and from nothing character appears, and also seeing how fast it appears. And it's interesting, like what I'm drawing, it's currently like 6 times faster, so you can see how it's decently fast. Like it's it doesn't take a lot to get something looking right and get something looking pretty. And what is taking the most amount of time is just polishing and making sure brush strokes are fine, and you don't have like you just kind of like all the small touches and small polishing. But to get the initial right look, it doesn't take a lot. And this is my favorite moment of drawing. Like from nothing, you have the face. See, I rotate it, like I've mirrored, and it doesn't look like it's not as horrifying as it was the last time when I mirrored, but there's still something off, right? So you can definitely see how it's like. And then later, I'm not sure if I'm doing this in this video recording, but I'm definitely doing this, like something with his eyes bothered me. I think in the end, I ended up transforming his eyes to make them smaller, and then I made them not as tilted. So now, as you can see, like outer corners are really, really raised. And I did this because like his face is looking down a little bit. And I realized it makes his like eyes look a little bit like weird, like frog eyes. I don't know, they kind of bulge. I don't know how to like explain, but I didn't like it. Like at this point, like his eyes look different now, And as I'm looking, to me they stand out because it's something I end up changing. But I'm pretty happy like with the jaw, and this is kind of what I very make sure like I got like as the cheekbones and the shadows on the cheekbones to the side of the face, and then the jaw, especially for this character, because again, for this character, the trick and the main challenge, because he's a male character, but he's also like a beautiful character. He has this feminine look to him, like has this elegant beauty to him. He's not like a brutal dude guy. So to me, it's always the challenge to, and also another thing, he has black hair, black eyebrows, so his face is very contrast, and he has like blue eyes, so it's like very contrasty features. So to me, it's a striking this balance of him looking feminine, but at the same time still looking like a man, and at the same time not making him look like a drag queen. And I'm saying it because like he has this dark brows, and his eyes are also like this blue, and it's I don't know, it's like I wanna kind of, because like again, very contrasty features, and at the same time he has long hair and like this feminine thing to him. It's like this is very, it's all about balance to not make him look strange. And I remember like as I was younger artist, younger in the way that like not just the age, but just not as advanced in my drawing, not as confident, let's say, in my drawing. This is the character that kept me literally study as much as I could about faces, because he is he's challenging because he has feminine thing, but and as I was drawing him in the beginning, a lot of people were like, oh, is it a girl? And I got so pissed every time, like why he looks like a girl. And obviously it's also biased because you see like very long hair, you see kind of beautiful features, and you assume immediately it's a girl without like looking, okay, he has actually masculine proportions of his face. So I realized that I need to learn a lot about the like literally proportional differences in female and male faces, and kind of start learning how to, you know, still make him look like a guy, even though he has those feminine aspects of him, like very feminine eyebrows, like the, you know, the prettiness overall of his face, and like the long hair. I don't know, it's overall complicated, and I think just my overall wondering about how gender looks, you will see, I think, not like you will, if you read my comic, I think you'll start noticing something that I like, really bending the gender and overall traits that assigned to females and traits assigned to males, like those things I like mixing and matching, and taking the traits that are considered to be like very masculine traits, like protectiveness and, you know, assertiveness and stuff like this, I assign them to women characters too. And there's some characters that are female that have more of these masculine traits, and there's a lot of masculine characters who have this more of the feminine traits. Like, for example, this guy, he is a storyteller, so basically it's magic that is more soft, more feminine. It's not like aggressive magic that is more fighting style. It's more the magic that relies on wit and relies on like artistic kind of skill. So I don't know, and he is more like the character, like his character, he's more tricky. He is like planning things and have like this weird intrigues going on. I don't know, he's not like very direct. He's very indirect character. He doesn't let people know about himself a lot. So it's like, I think it's more like a feminine traits, and what he's driven is not necessarily by logic as much as like his emotional needs. Like obviously everybody's driven by the emotional needs, but he's like, I don't know. I'm mumbling rambling a little bit about this topic, but maybe I should make again another video just talking about like feminine and masculine traits in different characters of different genders and how to do it. I don't know, you guys tell me. So at this angle, actually, it's kind of very close to the angle that I was struggling in the beginning of the video. And I ended up redrawing, like, see, like the area with the lips, mid the edge of the face overall, like the edge of the face where the lips are. This doesn't look right to me. Like, this is the area that always tricks me. I don't know, it makes me kind of a little bit concerned. This is the one that I worry about it a lot. And as of now, as of I'm recording, I did not finish this particular page. So, but I'm very excited to keep drawing it because I really like this page. I think this page is I don't know. I just, it's like the vibe. Like after this whole shenanigan that happened with me, I really appreciate the way like I just got back to drawing, and it just feels better. I don't know. It just feels better, and I'm very excited. And I'm glad that I'm fixing the eyes. Yeah, here we go. Much better, but still needs improving. But yeah, so this is it for this video. It's a little, again, rambly, but this is the podcast. This is why I created it, to allow myself to talk a little bit on structures and just my thoughts of drawing. So you can listen to this while you are drawing. So that's literally my whole spiel about it. So yeah, so that would be it for this episode of podcast. And I have no idea what awaits us for another episode of this podcast, but thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I'm really happy to share all my thoughts of drawing with you. I hope you are drawing during this podcast. Like, this is, I don't know, this is my dream was with this podcast, to just create something so it feels like we're all drawing together, all big drawing community. But yes, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.